Hi everybody, this is Roger Aladdin Daltrey and I'm making a very special video today because my Yes to Studio Albums 1969 to 1987 box set has finally reached 1,000 views. I know! 1,000 views, and it's been up there for like 19 months already. So it's quite interesting. So today we're doing a Yes Discography review. But this will only be a partial discography review because when I unboxed this box set a few months ago, it only contains these studio albums. So we're only going up as far as Big Generator. But if you like some of the later records of Yes, let me know in the comment section below, and then maybe I could have a listen to them. So of course, it's going to be 12 studio albums in this box set, which there was in the video. Don't forget to check my video as well of the Yes one, because that was the very first YouTube video I ever uploaded. Because I was new to YouTube anyway. So this video again is dedicated to the same people in the Yes video: Dan Burke, Conor McNally, Conor Gargan, Colin Downing and Sean Leahy. And it'll also be dedicated to some earlier members like Darren Nolan, Jack Roach and Conor Bolton. Okay, so here we go. Released in 1969, this is their self-titled debut. It was just titled Yes. And there's the back cover. And I think this is the UK front cover, because in the US it was actually a different album cover because it had, of course, the picture of the band on the front, which is quite cool. And then here's the gatefold, so you can see the band playing, and then you get a right up there. I think they were talking about Led Zeppelin here. Okay, and my favourite song on this album is probably Yesterday and Today. I just love the vocals by John Anderson and of course the music itself. I also love their version of the Beatles' Every Little Thing, which is from the Beatles for Sale album. And that album of course features some Carl Perkins and Buddy Holly covers, since they were inspired by 1950s rock and roll music. Which is also a Chuck Berry song as well, who tragically left us this year. And also John Lennon sang rock and roll music from the Beatles for Sale album as a tribute to Chuck Berry back in 1964. And now, here we are in 1969 with Every Little Thing by Yes. I also like their cover of the Byrds song I See You. And there's a lot of great songs in here too. And as for a least favourite, it's probably Sweetness. And I would give this album a 10 out of 10. Which is very cool. One of my favourite 60s debut albums ever. One of my favourite debut albums ever of all time. Okay. 1970, Time and a Word. And I don't like this album as much as their debut, but it's still enjoyable at times, this one. And my favourite song on this is probably Sweet Dreams, because I love the bass playing by Chris Squire, and I love John Anderson's vocals. That's the one thing I love about Yes, is that their bass playing by Chris Squire is just incredible. To me, he's in the same league as Geddy Lee from Rush. Because his bass playing, Geddy Lee's bass playing is kind of inspired by Chris Squire's. And I also like, of course, the Richie Havens cover, No Opportunity Necessary, No Experience Needed, because it actually reminds me, because actually, Richie Havens covered Just Like a Woman by Bob Dylan at the 30th anniversary concert. And for those that don't know, this YouTube channel that I have uploaded, there's me doing a cover of Just Like a Woman if you want to check it out. For those of you who haven't seen it yet. So as I said, Sweet Dreams is my favourite song on this, but second though would be of course the title song, Time and a Word. And my least favourite on this is probably The Prophet, which is a very similar title of the Prophet song by Queen, which is from their classic 1975 album A Night at the Opera, which is quite cool. So I give this album an 8 out of 10. Not quite as good as their debut album. So now, Peter Banks is out, Steve Howe is in, and this is when progressive rock for Yes was really at its peak. That's the one thing I love about progressive rock, is that they do excellent instrumentals, but Yes are my second favourite progressive rock band after Genesis, but that's of course only with Peter Gabriel, and then of course the early albums by Phil Collins. So I think that's A Trick of the Tail, Wind and Wuthering, and then The Wood Tree. And I think Duke is, of course, prog rock. It has some prog rock stuff in there, but then by the time Abacab came out, they went pop, which I love anyway. Anyway, so Here we go. 1971, the Yes album. There you go. And then, of course, gatefold. Now, I don't want to open up widely because I don't want to wreck the spine, because these are all flappy and a bit cardboardy. But anyway, my favourite song on this is probably Starship Trooper, because but my favourite section that is obviously Life Seeker, which is quite cool. And my least favourite on this is probably Perpetual Change. But it's not a bad song. I still think it's good overall. But it was probably my least favourite. Because that's the thing. This album, there's a lot of great songs on this record. Anyway. And I would give this album a 9 out of 10. Okay, Tony Kaye out, Rick Wakeman in. And now we come to my personal favourite Yes album of all time. Fragile. I love the front cover. It's all Planet Earth. And in fact, this album was given... I remember seeing the School of Rock movie about 5 years ago. But I still watch it to this day. Like, it is one of my favourite movies of all time. And basically, Jack Black, the character who Jack Black plays, Dwayne Murray, gave the students a bit of homework to play. And they had to play, of course, listen to music. Somebody got Fragile because of the incredible keyboard solo by Rick Wakeman. And somebody got Blondie Parallel Lines. And I think somebody got, of course, the self-titled album of Led Zeppelin. And my favourite song on this, and my favourite Yes song of all time, is Roundabout, as I said, because I love Chris Squire's bass, John Anderson's vocals, and of course, Rick Wakeman's keyboards. I also love the Cans and Vrams extract as well, and We Have Heaven is good too. Heart of a Sunrise is excellent too. But Roundabout is my favourite song of that, and my least favourite is probably 5% for Nothing. Because it's really nothing, because it kind of puts me to sleep after a few minutes, which is a bit strange. Because Yes don't send me to sleep anyway. Only ABBA does and a few other ones. Anyway. So that's pretty cool. I'll just get the gatefold for you. So yeah, I again, you can see that these can't really close properly because I don't want to break these spines. So yeah, I give this album a 10 out of 10. It's one that I play a lot. I wouldn't have bought it just for the collection. Yeah, you know, I'll admit, a few of these records like Time in the World, it really is just for the collection. It's just, I wouldn't be playing it that often. You know, Fragile is a regular play on my music station. The next record up is what many people consider to be their best album, but I don't agree with that. But I do love this record overall. 1972's Close to the Edge. And there's the back cover here. There are really only 3 songs on this because the songs are incredibly long. Then I'll just get the gatefold here. That's pretty cool. And my favourite song on this is probably the title song, Close to the Edge. Which is very cool. And my favourite song is Close to the Edge, and my least favourite is... I don't have a least favourite on this one. They're all really good. Because there are only 3 songs, so it's really hard to say which is my least favourite, because I don't have a least favourite on this one. They're all pretty good. So I give this a 10 out of 10. Oh, sorry, I forgot. I give Fragile a 10 out of 10, definitely. And then I give this one a 10 out of 10. So now, Bill Bruford out, Alan White in. Not to be confused with Alan White from Oasis, because don't forget, Mick Jones from Foreigner and Mick Jones from The Clash. So now we get Alan White's first album with Yes. 1973's Tales from Topographic Oceans. Now, this front cover is special to me because when I discovered Yes, I knew Yes by this album cover. Which is... I love the front covers. You can tell why it's called The Ocean, really. Then there's the gatefold here with all these lyrics. And as you can see there, it has a god-awful spine on that because it's really hard to close these when you open it up. That's the thing. I wish they did something better with the spines. But it's not bad. I like this box set a lot. And for my favourite song, it's probably The Revealing Science of God. Because I love the ocean effects it has underneath. At the beginning. I also... second though would be... what would be my second favourite? I would also love, of course, the... I would also love the Remembering Hide the Memory, but of course, that's instrumental. Okay. So, that's pretty cool. My least favourite on this is probably Ritual. Because that's the thing, this is one of the hardest albums to listen to because it's very long. But anyway, I give this album a 8 out of 10. Okay, so now Rick Wakeman was gone, and then Patrick Morris was a temporary replacement. Like in Blue Oyster Cult, Tommy Zivonchek was a temporary replacement for Alan Lanier. So now, of course, we get 1974's Relayer, which is a really fun album. A friend of mine, I remember reading another YouTube video, and they said that this is actually considered by him as the best progressive rock album of all time. So then there's the picture for you. But for me, I don't necessarily agree with that. For me, it's probably Genesis selling England by the pound. And most people say Pink Floyd, Dark Side of the Moon. But my favourite song on this is probably Sound Chaser. And my least favourite is, just like Close to the Edge, I don't have a least favourite on this one because there's only 3 songs on here. But The Gates of Delirium is a classic. Anyway, so that's Relayer for you. But anyway, it's a good album. And now, then of course, Rick Wakeman comes back into the band from his solo career, and I know now that some Yes fans might be very annoyed for me saying this, but I love this album so damn much. It could be my favourite Yes album, going for the one. I don't know what it is about this record. It is just so fun the whole way through. And I'm telling you, there are no bad tracks on here. And I only like this album a lot because look what you get. Triple gatefold. Well done. I wasn't really expecting that. As I said in my video, I loved how this album turned out. But I do think it is a weird cover though because of the bottom. And he's naked and topless. But considering this, my favourite song on this though is the title song, Going for the One, and it's one of my favourite Yes songs. Second though would be Wondrous Stories, which reminds me a lot of the songs on Time in the World. I think it would have fit perfectly on that album. But otherwise, it's fine here. And the keyboard solo by Rick Wakeman, Awaken, is just superb. And Parallels is great because Rick Wakeman does the keyboard, does the church organ. It kind of works well for playing at weddings, which is quite cool. And I don't have a least favourite one at all because this is just fantastic. Next up is 1978, Tornado. Considered as the death of Yes because this was around the time when progressive rock was dying. So I remember in the Genesis and then the What 3 reissue interview, Tony Banks was saying that 1978 was the death of progressive rock because Yes had died and Emerson, Lake and Palmer had died, which I don't see it that way because 1979 we had The Wall by Pink Floyd. And then there's the back cover here. As I said, they look like Aerosmith. Like that guy there looks like Tom Hamilton, and this one looks like Joe Perry, and that one there looks like Steven Tyler. And I think that one looks like Brad Whitford, and that one looks like Joey Kramer. So basically, some people were thinking that this is Aerosmith, not Yes. And my favourite song on this would be Don't Kill the Whale. And for my least favourite, it's probably Onward. But I give this album a 9 out of 10. It's a really good album. So then Rick Wakeman leaves the band again, and John Anderson leaves for the very first time. And then Trevor Horn was the lead singer for this record, and then Jeff Downes on keyboards. So here is 1980 with Drama. And you know something? When that came out, I mean, when I heard this for the first time, I didn't know what to think, and I still in a way don't know what to think. But I liked the fact that they experimented and they were kind of taking things at a chance. So I sort of like this one that way. Now I'll just get the gatefold for you. There's the guys. I think the middle one is Chris Squire, and I know this one's Alan White. And my favourite song on this would probably, well, I don't know, my favourite song on this is probably Tempest Fugit. And my least favourite is probably Does It Really Happen? So overall, I'm going to have to give this album a 7 out of 10. But some good songs on that, like Machine Messiah. So then the band broke up for a few years, so we weren't able to listen to them. But so then, So then the band broke up for a few years, so we weren't able to listen to them. But so then, they didn't really broke up. They just took an extended break, and then John Anderson returned, and even Tony Kaye comes back to the band, and Trevor Rabin now is the new guitar player because Steve Howe left, because him and Jeff Downes went to be in Asia with John Wetton of King Crimson, who sadly died this year. And who else there? Then there was Carl Palmer from Emerson, Lake and Palmer, who now is the only surviving member left. So here is 1983's 90125, which of course has the big hit Owner of Lonely Heart, which is my favourite song on the album. I love Hold On, and what else do I love? There's a couple of other ones. My least favourite is probably Cinema, because one day I was listening to the Kiss album Hot in the Shade, and after listening to Silver Spoon, I was going on to Cadillac Dreams, and basically they just played Cinema, which got me mega pissed, and that's why it's my least favourite. It happened when I was listening to the Ramones' Pleasant Dreams with the Led Zeppelin song Out on the Tiles, which is from the Led Zeppelin 3 album. And yeah, so Cinema is my least favourite. But I give this album a 10 out of 10 because it's an excellent album. And then finally, finishing off here on Yes, here we are. This is Big Generator. This album never got a proper reissue. And this is the last album on Atlantic Records, and this was kind of when I was losing interest in Yes, but some people lost interest in them during a Tornado. So I don't really know what to say about this one. My favourite song on this though is probably Holy Lamb, which is one of the better Yes songs after Tornado. So, but my least favourite on this is probably Final Eyes. So I'm going to have to give this album probably a 6 out of 10. There aren't many songs in this album that I like. But I kind of do like, of course, Love Will Find a Way. And on the extended version of that, the opening is so similar to the Kiss song On the Eighth Day, which is the closing track off 1983's Lick It Up, which was their first album without makeup, and it was even the comeback record, and it was the first time it went platinum since Dynasty, which is my favourite Kiss album. And so I kind of like the extended version more than the original version of Love Will Find a Way. But Final Eyes is my least favourite, but I like the do-do-do-do-do-do-do at the start. I think that's the one, I could be wrong. Let me know in the comment section below. So, I'll give this album a 6 out of 10. So there you go, that's my discography review of Yes. Well, partial discography review. And I would love your thoughts on their discography. And if you don't like Yes, were you ever a fan? I just want to know, because... And if you are a fan of Yes, I feel happy for you. It's just, I think Yes is one of the greatest bands ever of all time. And if you like some of the later records from Yes, just say so. I honestly won't mind if you like them or not. It's just... Maybe if they bring out a box set of their last 9 studio albums, I might get that and do an unboxing video for them then. Anyway, thanks very much, guys. I'm glad my first YouTube video ever reached 1,000 views. So see you next time. Bye bye.